Hello, my name is Steven Paredes. I've been assigned to answer question number 6A and question number 6C. Alright, let's start. Question number 6 states, consider all the integers between negative 5,000 and positive 100,000. How many of them are multiples of 120 or 300? Alright, so the way I'm going to start this is I'm going to make these numbers a little easier for me to understand by taking the numbers in the negative spectrum, i.e. negative 5,000 to negative 1, and just slapping them over in the positive spectrum. So to do that, I'm going to take our positive spectrum numbers, 100,000, and I am going to subtract them by a negative 5,000, which subtracting a negative number is basically just adding. So that is equal to 105,000. So now the numbers are from 0 to 105,000. While not completely necessary, this step will simplify most of the math in this. So now we need to figure out how many of them are multiples of 120. How many of the numbers in this range here? So to do that, we would take 105,000, excuse that, and we divide it by 120, which equals 875. So that tells us that there are 875 integers in the range from 0 to 105,000 that are divisible by 120. Alright, so now we gotta find how many integers are divisible by 300, which is pretty easy. You just do the same process, but instead of dividing by 120, you divide by 300. This equals 350. So there are 350 integers that are divisible by 300 in the range from 0 to 105,000. Now, in these two ranges or sets of divisible integers, there is some overlap. So let's say this is 120, the integers that are divisible by 120, and then the integers that are divisible by 300. There is this small overlap here. We don't want to count these twice because that will ruin our numbers, so what we will do is we'll find the least common multiple between 120 and 300. You can do that some fancy way, or you can just do what I did and find the number that is the lowest that matches between the two. So in this case, 120 and 300 have a least common multiple of 600. So what we would do is we take 105,000, my bad, and we would divide it by that least common multiple, which is 600. That is equal to 175. So there are 175 integers in the range from 0 to 105,000 that are divisible by 600, which would effectively cancel out or be the numbers that 120 and 300 are both divisible by, which we want to not count twice. So to continue to find how many of them are multiples of 120 or 300, we would then add 875 with 350 and then subtract the numbers that they have in common, because this has the same set of numbers and this has the same set of numbers. So we just subtract it out once and it fixes it up so that we don't have any overlap. So this equals 1050. So that is the amount of integers that are multiples of 120 and 300. So, to find C, which is how many are not multiples of 120 or not multiples of 300, is pretty simple, because all you have to really do is take the set. Let's say this box here is the set of 0 from 105,000. And then these circles, poorly drawn but still, are going to be the numbers that are divisible by 120 and 300. Alright, that's the overlap there. And we are looking for the numbers that have these vertical bars. So, while there are many ways you can do this, I find that the easiest way is to just take the total number of how many of them are multiples of 120 or 300, which we already found, and just subtracting that from the total. So, the total being 105,000. We would then subtract 1,050 from that, because those are the numbers that are multiples of 120 or 300. This equals 103,000 and then 950. So that is the amount of integers that are not multiples of 120 or not multiples of 300 in the set from negative 5,000 to 100,000.